And this is Andrew Wheelock, or Spiff, who's going to speak about reimagining the diary of a young girl, Anne Frank, for the 21st century learner. And we're all set to go, Spiff.
All right, thank you very much. Can everyone hear me? Testing one?
Yes,
all
yes.
Right. Okay, great. Well, thanks everyone. I'm going to try and keep this light and lively. First of all, next to my avatar's shoes, there is a box. Feel free to click on that, and that'll give you information about this project. So I'll tell you really, I'll just kind of walk you through the genesis of this project. This was, as a student back in 8th grade, I had read The Diary of Anne Frank, and it was one of the most influential books that I had ever read. And I think all of us, when we read it, we saw how powerful that was and how much it moved us, especially when we were young, because she talked so eloquently about the struggles of not only adolescence, but of course the tragic events that were going on around her. And one of the things that always I had a difficult time with while reading the book, that length of time. So when I started doing work with virtual environments and saw the Holocaust Museum here in Second Life, I thought this would be a great way to get kids to read the book, which is the essential piece, but then also have maybe a virtual world exploration so that they can see and get a more immersive experience with the annex. So to bring that book alive in a sense. And so I'll just walk you through some of the things that we've done. We've called this the Understanding the Holocaust course because we wanted to bring students to a bigger picture. And if I can just apologize for not having a script here so you can read it as well. I usually just go by the seat of my pants more often than not. But I love this quote as if you've ever seen the movie about Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, there's a great line in it that says, unlikely adventures require unlikely tools. And I think that's, again, captured the spirit of what we wanted to do with this project, is really to do something different, to have students experience history in a different way. And this was the project we came up with. So our goals for the project were to give students a new way to learn and visualize the events of the Holocaust, to visualize the secret annex that are a part of the Diary of a Young Girl, Anne Frank, and let students in the end, and I think this is where it ties into the work you're doing here, is letting the kids become museum curators where they create their own digital exhibit. And then, of course, we tried to put multiple curriculum layers in, from science to art to social studies, so it wasn't just a history project. I'll give you just a quick kind of slideshow tour of the annex, and I do want to give the grateful thanks of my good friend and colleague Serena Offcourse, who's out there. She told me not to say anything about her, but I'm going to anyways. She was a big part of putting this together and doing a lot of the building, and there were so many people that were a part of it. And I think all of us know, as educators, we don't work in a silo, or at least we shouldn't. And so many people kind of help us along the way. But this is just kind of a picture of the front door of the house, or the Opekta company, as it would have been called. This is the kind of front office building you can see out onto the streets of Amsterdam, and you can see the Opekta company sign along the wall. So again, we took old pictures, photographs, and of course the museum today, and tried to recreate it as best as we could. And again, also embedded text from the book itself. So we took Anne's diary as description information as well. Here's the secret bookshelf. You can kind of slide it off to the side and again get the experience and show really the ingenuity behind the secret annex. It really was quite a feat for them to hide for 2 years in the middle of a bustling city with people actively searching for them. And again, I think what happened with this project and the design is we really got a great, it reinforced our idea of how ingenious it was to hide and and really Otto Frank, how he really brought 8 people and kept them alive for 2 years was quite amazing. Good question, Mr. K. The students we have another project called The Heir of the King, which is more of a role play adventure for the kids. We do have the kids in this particular sim, we make sure that they're in period clothes. We don't let them fly on this island. We do make it a more serious presentation for them. So we do talk to students about, they need to be in appropriate attire. They need to, we want it to be in kind of them in role, in costume for this time period. And the kids really respect the rules of that. It's kind of rare when you see a kid that goes beyond that. So again, if we're talking about the level here, it's really 7 to 12 is the age levels. The grade 7 to 12 is what we've done. This is a picture of Anne's room, and this is her desk. And when you're in the virtual world, if you touch the diary, you'll get a Dutch version reading of the diary, and then you can also get if you click on the lamp, you can hear an English version of that as well. Yeah, thank you, Val. And so, again, kids get a really good experience of this. This is Peter's room, so he's right underneath the attic steps. And of course, this is one of my favorite rooms. It's the attic, and this was the place where Anne and Peter used to come kind of, be alone as far as just being adolescents here. And this was the one window where they could look out of and actually see a little bit of the world. And Anne talks about, seeing birds and seeing the tree. There's a tree that's just beyond this window that just came down. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but probably 2 years ago, I think the tree finally fell. It was out there, and they replanted a seedling from it. So as far as the students go, that was just kind of a quick tour of the annex. The kids come in every day, and there's 10 assignments there. Each one has a different focus. The kids come, they click on the assignment board, they get a note card with where they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to do. Underneath, it's a tutorial if they need help, so it's just a visual tutorial of the assignment. So again, it depends on the school. Some do all 10 assignments, some do half of the assignments, some make their own assignments. It's up to the teacher. Then they go, after they're finished with the project, one of their last assignments is to be a museum curator. And so they go to that, and these are just some of the creations they've made over the last couple of years. And you can see this is just one wall of presentations and exhibits. So they made a digital representation of thing, and this falls right in line with Marzano's work of redefining what an assessment is. And it's really awesome what the kids do. Each kid comes up with a new and unique kind of rendering of what they've learned. So they create usually a PowerPoint presentation or a Google slideshow here, and then they do a digital representation below. Okay, and then there's just some more examples. So again, this is a student that made an airplane. He actually took real airplanes and made a French airplane. Again, what his presentation was would have aligned with that. Here was a train car that kids can go in and get kind of a virtual kind of recreation of what it was like in those those horrible cars that they loaded so many people in. And again, you see some of the kids' displays. One kid made a display about the Nazis and their political views and affiliations. You can see the gate of Auschwitz here is a recreated gate there. So a lot going on in this picture. At the end, the kids are asked to do a reflection candle. So they get a candle and they have to put an essay in it. And this is where we really found out, when we were doing this project, our worry was the teachers that were involved in this would kids get it? Would this just be a game to them? Because we wanted them to certainly have fun and be engaged with this, but we also didn't want it to be frivolous to them because of the subject matter was so powerful. And this assignment really let us know that the kids got it and were really into it and dug deeper than they would have, I think, before. So the essays, you just click on these candles and it brings up an essay. And, at first it started off just paragraphs, but then, as we started building the project, the essays have gotten better, more deeper, making, much bigger connections to it. So that really made us happy to see that they were going deeper. And this is a little peace park that was created. Again, Serena kind of put this as a place, so there's a reflection area and there's a place where we can kind of think of better days and bigger thoughts. So that's the presentation in a nutshell. Again, you can see if you click on the note card here, Serena for the Virtual World's Best Practices Conference, part of the annex into Second Life, and it was as an exhibit on Virtual World's Best Practice, but it's now at our ISTE plot. So I left a landmark at the card at the bottom, and please feel free to visit it at any time and sign our guest book, so you can get kind of you can come and see just part of the annex world. So thanks everybody. Stop by and see them.